killed the stream. So, starting it up back again. Starting it back up again. That was a... For those of you who don't know, that are about to join the stream, or just join the stream, I'm making Damascus, and I'm forging by hand because I don't have a forge press. I'll be right back. Heating up so we can forge it. We really want to keep forging it close to the forge welding temperatures, or it's going to start splitting apart on us. Especially since I'm doing it all by hand, and since I don't have a forge press, it's a lot harder. It's a lot stressier. That's not word. It's a lot more stressing on the welds. Shuts or something. So we want to forge this thing really hot and make sure we repair any spots that start to crack open. Crack. Wondering what that white powder was, that's borax. Basically, it eats away refractory materials, and it also eats away forge scale, which is very important for what this is for, because when I get a little delam in the metal, it's going to end up having some forge scale building up, or iron being oxidized, the steel being oxidized. So that I think it gets oxidized oxygen goes into the steel and creates forged scale. So if I sprinkle some borax on it, it'll eat the forged scale out of there, and then I can forge it back together, and it'll give me a nice, supposedly will give me a nice clean weld. That is the theory anyway. When you let it sit at forge welding temperatures, the layers will kind of bind themselves together. So a lot of what happens when you're making Damascus is actually happening inside the forge, less on the anvil. Forging and shaping stuff is happening on the anvil, but a lot of the actual Damascus, like welding all that stuff, a lot of it's happening in the forge. Because when you let it set at forge welding temperatures, the molecules kind of like bond together a little bit. So to make sure you get a really good weld. So that's what I'm trying to do. Last time I was doing this, I wasn't letting it sit, I was just letting it get up to temperature. So we're definitely going to make sure, especially since I'm doing it all by hand, and since I have a press which will be way gentler on it, we're definitely going to make sure to let this thing set like 5 minutes after it gets up to welding temperatures. Then make sure absolutely not to forge it cold, because forging it cold is disaster. So far this is what we have. This is one billet of 18 layers of alternating 1084 and 15N20 steels. 1084 steel is the dark steel, 15N20 steel is the light steel, or the white, as some people call it. And I just took it, forged it out flat. Actually, so this is a whole, I have two pieces of the billet. It was one billet, but the billet I'm working on right now, I just cut it in half and then I forged out to this shape, and now I'm going to forge out the billet I'm working on right now into this shape, so then I can stick them together and forge them together to get more layers. But we do have to wait for it to come up to PS. That's really important. Very important. I'd really rather not use borax, as it eats into refractory materials, so the lining of the forge, the fire bricks on the bottom, it disintegrates it. It's really hard. It basically destroys your forge every time you use borax, but it is necessary, so use it as little as possible, but not so little that my blades don't work. I'm definitely more of a non-Damascus type guy, but I really want to do Damascus. I'm about to start building a press, though. Just build it because I need one so bad. So I did a stream a couple days ago, and I mentioned that it didn't have a slag hammer or a welding hammer, this thing, And the next day, this, and 2 small welding magnets appeared in the mail, which was really cool. I found out my uncle had sent me like some welding equipment. He was on the stream a couple days ago, and he saw that I didn't have this stuff, and he just sent it in the mail, which is really, really cool. But this is not technically a must-have, but I'm going to say it's a must-have when you're welding. You can do without it, but it's a really, really nice to have. And I would have eventually got it, but or made it. And then everyone just needs a really big wire brush. I think it's time to have the forge. With a stick welder, something that's like 2,000 degrees, because the handle is coming off. This might be a really bad idea, but I'm going to try to weld a glowing piece of steel. Very bad idea, I can see this. This is a bad idea. Make sure, like, to tell me. Well, super awesome. Nothing bad happened, I think. I hope. I cannot read that comment. It doesn't look English. Sebastian, hello. I can't read your comment because it doesn't look like it's English. Out of the forge for a little while, so I can weld the handle back on because the handle is coming off, which means it's going to have to be sitting in the forge a little bit longer than I'd like. So, yeah, basically we'll be sitting here for a little while, waiting for maybe like 5 minutes. I probably shouldn't tell you guys that, because if you think, if I probably should tell people on live streams that they're going to have to wait. Should I? Probably shouldn't say that. But if you have any questions, like about what we're doing or how I'm doing it, or just fire, we got enough time. Thinking about streaming every single day this week. Not 100% sure. Don't quote me on that. So I may only stream like 2 or 3 times this week. I may only stream once, but like I'm thinking about streaming like if I have enough work. I'm thinking about streaming like for the next 4 days. Not straight, but like each day I'm thinking about streaming from like 12 to 2 because 12 to 2 is that gap where most people are on, where live streams seem to do better, I guess. What type of live streams would you guys like to see me do? Being a blacksmith, that's actually more of a bladesmith than a blacksmith, but I'm still a blacksmith. Yeah, let me know what type of streams you'd like to see. Would you like to see just the forging, or would you like to see like forging and like the rest of the knife process, like making the handle, grinding the blade, the other stuff that a lot of people would think is boring, but I don't know. Let me know what you think. live streams is that it takes a long time to heat up the metal, especially when you're doing Damascus and not just anything that you can just pound at basically whatever temperature you want. But with Damascus, you just can't skip. You can't go quickly on it. You have to do it at that right rate, or you're gonna tear stuff apart. It's just gonna be a pain in the long run. Which is why, trust me, a million times better. Make this stream very much more satisfying. I don't know. I like watching people forge with hand hammers though, and I do enjoy forging with a hand hammer. But I prefer the lazy side, where I can just use a press. So that's why I'm going to make one. If you're trying to make one, set it up in the corner over there or something. I kind of want to try to make like a 40-ton press. I don't know. I think that's probably a little bit overkill, but if you know Kyle Lawyer on YouTube, the Master Smith, basically the best bladesmith I've ever seen in my life. He has a 40-ton hydraulic press, so that's kind of what I'm going to aim for, something around 40 tons of hydraulic pressure, which I should never need any more than 40 tons, I hope. Basically, it eats the forge scale that builds up on the side of your steel, that builds up on the edges of your steel. So when you have a little delamination, you put borax on it, and it'll eat the forge scale out between it, so that you can get a clean forge weld when you smash it back together at the forge welding temperatures. It is very important, I will say. But the annoying thing is, it basically destroys your forge. It eats away refractory materials. So the blanket that's covering the outside of the inside. Blanket that's covering the inside of the forge and the fire pipe that's on the ground, it'll also eat through steel, so if it gets through the blanket, it'll start eating away at the walls of your actual metal, the metal walls of your forge, which is obviously not ideal, but yeah. Also, if you could like double tap the screen, that would like the stream, which will tell YouTube that, basically it'll tell YouTube to show it to more people, like, you don't have to stick around, but obviously, I completely understand since it's a little bit longer of a project we're doing. But if you double tap on the screen, that'll let YouTube know to show it to more people. I would definitely appreciate it if you do that. Also, this is hot. It keeps like melting my arms. I need to get long sleeves. on me, which is painful. Trying to get to 1,000 subscribers this year. I have like 840 subscribers. We're getting close. These live streams seem to have a pretty good turnout. So subscribe if you like this content. On it very long because it gets slightly cool. So, like, I don't really want to forge on it any cooler than this. Like, if this wasn't Damascus, I'd be forging on it until basically there was no color left in it. But being as this is Damascus, I really don't want to. I really don't want to try it. Don't want to push it, especially since I'm basically still learning how to do Damascus. Try to do a regular stream instead of these horizontal streams, vertical streams, but I haven't quite figured out how to get that to work yet. Would you guys watch a horizontal stream? Like, is that something you do, or would you rather stick with these vertical streams where you can pop in for 16 seconds and leave? I know with the horizontal streams, people tend to stick around for a lot longer, and with vertical streams, people like pop in and out after like 20 seconds. Also, by the way, if you end up forging inside, make sure you have one of these. That is a carbon monoxide detector. It detects the level of carbon monoxide in the air, or dioxide. I don't know, carbon something detector. Because the forge produces a little bit of carbon monoxide, and if it gets above a certain point, it becomes dangerous, and you can pass out and then suffocate. So it is very important that you have one of those. Just make sure you have one of those before you start forging on the indoors. up? Thanks for joining the stream. We're just forging Damascus. Walking home from work right now, Chris? Oh, I forget. Where do you work? Not like location-wise, but like, what company do you work with? I forget. Neighborhood fresh. Okay, grocery store. That's cool. What would be really cool is if I could make this my full-time job, making blacksmithing. But for that to work, I really need to become like a specialist and like specialize in like making like a specific type of blade and just like become extremely good at it. So and get a huge name on YouTube, which you could actually help me get a name on YouTube by like subscribing, liking the stream. Like that'll show YouTube that push out my content to more people. Not looking for fame, but I am looking for enough popularity for advertisement so I can actually have enough people that I reach out to sell my knives. Like I said before, I can't remember if I don't know. Like I've said before, we do want to let it sit in the forge for a while. We're going to let it sit in the forge for like 5 minutes, 2.5 minutes, something. Basically, if you let it sit at forge welding temperatures for a certain period of time, the molecules will kind of like bind themselves together in between where the layers are. So a lot of what happens while making Damascus is actually in the forge. A lot of the welding is done inside the forge, sitting at forge welding temperatures rather than on the anvil. They kind of initially stick them together on the anvil, but in the forge, will kind of stick together even harder if you let them sit at, what, like 2,400, 2,200 degrees? Also, I like the doors on my forge. I made doors for my forge, but finally, after a long time of wanting to, but not thinking I could, and then I realized I could, so I finally made them. For a long time, I finally made forged doors for my forge, and it's so much more convenient than using bricks. Pile of mashed, broken bricks that got way too overheated, so they broke to pieces. And finally, now I just have a door. Like it's so convenient. The orifice is basic on a forge, or actually on anything. The orifice is basically a little knob thing that with a little teeny hole that the gas goes through. I'm thinking the orifice is starting to get a little bit clogged up on this forge, and I have a couple extras. So once I let it cool down, I'm gonna take them off and replace them with new and see if that fixes it. They keep wanting to flutter and not burn as hot as it should be burning. So you're gonna see if that was wrong. Replace the orifices. Said it's not burning as hot as it should be. I didn't say it wasn't burning hot. It is burning crazy hot. Kind of funny, like streaming on different days, because like this is Monday. Yeah, this is Monday, and like audience is pretty small right now. But like Friday, there was like the average is about 10 times more. So like there's 10 people on right now. So like Friday, about now there was about 100 people on. So I guess it's like the end of the week. Some people don't work on Fridays. I think most people work on Mondays. I think. I could be wrong. But I think. So, I don't know. It's kind of interesting to see different days. Same time in the day, but different days. How, like, viewership wise. forge it out longer than this because I'm going to have to cut the ends off because the ends are going to be a little bit torn up and not very nice. A problem I'm having with the billet I'm working on. A problem I'm currently having with the billet I'm working on right now is right about in the middle. There's a delamination that's going from about here all the way to over here on the billet that's in the forge right now. And it keeps opening up. I keep trying to close it back up, but it keeps opening up. I'm gonna try to like get it to close and then like just let it sit in the forge for a while, so hopefully bind itself together. But we'll see what actually happens. Let me plug you in. There we go. The camera is getting low on battery power. I really like these live streams. Live streams tend to do really good for some reason compared to other things. Sledgehammer. This is a little bit difficult to forge with as it's kind of big, and I only have two hands, so this thing's built for two hands. I can do it with technically forge with this thing with one hand, but it's just a lot of work. And this is about half the weight, exactly. But if I had another person, I might. But it might be too stressful on the weld. So if I'm using a sledgehammer, I can't watch as closely. That's what I'm doing, so I can't watch the matches as closely. Make sure. to sit in there a little bit longer than usual to make sure to try to get those loads to bind together a little bit better. Because basically the weld that's like cut across here, the D-lamp that's popped up right about the middle, like for about this big of an area. I've welded it back together again, forge welded it back together, but I'm gonna let it sit in the forge. Make sure that it actually sticks. I don't think I'd be running into this problem if I was using a forge press. With a forge press, you're not like being so brutal on it. You're moving it a lot more steel, a lot faster, but you're not quite being brutal in the sense of like a hammer as you're pulling and pushing and smashing it in all directions. Live streams I should probably do more less Damascus, as Damascus takes a long time to heat up in the forge, and more other projects that are not Damascus. So like something I can forge on for longer and get back out of the forge sooner. So like I don't have to forge it so hot that it takes so long to actually deal with. So like railroad spikes or stuff like that. I'm working on another railroad spike. This one's a lot thinner. Basically, it's a new style of railroad spike I'm working on. It's probably not new. Other people have probably already made this, but just got a twist, normal. But basically, it's all clean. Because usually, I don't have an example. Usually, I'd leave the back rugged where you can see all the hammer dings on it, and then the edge would be ground down. But then it's got like this, and it's got the thing down, and it's just like really thin for a railroad spike. Also, I'm working on a like railroad spike dagger, I guess, and then I'm working on another railroad spike dagger. I like this one. I may throw this one away. I like this one though. It's got these little thingies, spiky things on the edges. PB Blacksmithing, just the same as my YouTube name. You can see some of the blades I have made. I would like it if you bought some. I always find it satisfying when somebody like actually buys some of my knives. I've sold like 9 knives on Etsy. Most of them are railroad spike knives, but I sold some more expensive knives. Expensive for like what I make, like $200 like karate knife. I've sold like a $200 skinning knife, $200 dagger. I have another commission that's doing more than all those. I've sold some that are bigger ones, but like, I don't know. If you want, you can get yourself a railroad spike on Etsy. If you just look up PB Blacksmithing, you'll see my shop, and you can support me by buying my knives through there, if you're interested. Get this forged out to the right dimensions, and then I'll cut the stream, and then I'll start again tomorrow. Because usually 12 to like 2 is the good streaming time. I started at 11, going to like 1:30 to, sorry, 11:30, going to like 1:30 to 2 or something like that. Usually people start dropping off drastically at about like 1:45. I'll probably stop something around that time. I'll just finish the exact step I'm on right now. And then I'll probably cut stream and then start over tomorrow. Not start over, start new tomorrow. Most likely. Don't completely count on it, but most likely I'll start a stream tomorrow. I know you guys are probably really busy and can't afford to spend a ton of time with here, but what you can do pretty easily, just instantly, is just tap the screen 2 times fast, and it'll like my stream, it'll like the stream, and it'll tell YouTube to go and promote it to more people. So you can leave, and then others can come in, and, you know, promotion. I do this kind of stuff on my YouTube channel. I do some long forms, not a ton of long forms, like I do a long form every like 2 months or 3 months or 5 months or 2 weeks. I don't know, it varies. Anything from like a month to like 5 months, or like 2 weeks to like 3, 4 months or something like that. It's super random actually get the shape of it, like finally out of it. Also, this is not a lot of steel. So like I have double this, so I have another one of those in the forge. That's not a lot of steel for a blade, especially when you're making Damascus, how you're going to lose a lot of it in scale. So definitely going to put a decent amount of other steel in this before I actually make a knife. The most aggravating Damascus part I've ever done. And again, I've really only done 3 Damascus, and this would be number 3, I think. It keeps throwing scale all over my hand, like 2,000 degree scale pieces. The problem is, if I wear gloves, then the scale bounces and lands behind the gloves. I mean, if I had the sleeve over the glove, I guess that would work. But I think the sleeve is just going to pull up. Gloves that had elastic that would like close off the gaps. So instead of having it just like flare out at the wrist, get like at the wrist, it actually like elastics around your wrist. That would work technically. Close, y'all. Also, if you aren't subscribed yet, go ahead, click the subscribe button. Not sure how you do that from a stream, but I know it's possible. Also, double tap the screen to like the stream so YouTube knows to push it out to more people. Just so you don't, like, I don't know, just so you can find me again later. on me, it won't land on me. I also lost all movement in my wrist because of that now. That might not be a smart idea. You see, like, these gloves kind of like flare out a little bit. So, like, in the forge, the scale lands behind the gloves. And it, like, then I can't shake it off because, well, there's a glove between it and the thing. So, this is so weird. I've never done this before. I'm literally taping my gloves. Do not do at home. This might be a bad idea. There we go. Now my gloves and my jacket are one. Let's hope that's not an extremely bad idea. Now if scale lands on my hand, it's going to melt the plastic, and then I'm going to get molten plastic on my hands. Yeah, I guess we're just going to gamble and see what happens. Let's hope that doesn't happen. I just need to try to stick these bolts back together. Probably build myself a forge so I can, once I learn how to do that, so I can, like, I don't know. I should just probably build myself a forge eventually. I don't like how this forge is, as because you might be able to see, but the propane hose goes right here, it's actually right here, but it gets extremely hot. It's like the propane hose gets super hot, which is, I don't know, I feel like not good. If you have any warnings I should know about before I make myself a press, go ahead and like put them in the chat. I don't know. I'm just trying to give you something. I'm just trying, like, because I'm going to build myself a press. I'm just trying to, I don't know, get the chat to say something. So if you have any, like, things I should know, small things that I should know, or big things that I should know before I make myself like a forge press, then you should definitely let me know. actually do something. I just thought of something. I should actually be live on both channels. I have a couple channels. I should be live on both channels. Not right now, because I'm almost done with the stream today. But tomorrow, I think I'm going to be live on 2 channels. That should do something, I think. Also, do you guys know how, like, I could be live on Facebook and YouTube from, like, the same video, or do I actually need, like, can I be live on both YouTube and Facebook at the same time from the same video, or do I have to be, like, do I need completely 2 different devices? Like, I'm at 845 subscribers, I just checked. Can we please make that to 850? That's, I don't know, that just feels like another mile marker. I'm getting closer every single time I stream to 1,000 subscribers, and I'm really trying to get that this year. I think this is forged out about the same size. It's actually a little bit bigger because I'm going to have to cut the edges off, obviously. But actually, I don't know if that is obvious, but I'm going to have, I'll just say it, I'm going to have to cut the edges off. But let's normalize it. Let's just get it normalized. Not normalized. Yeah, yes, normalized. Normalizing is basically making the steel in the softest state possible. I guess what it does is it kind of like arranges the molecules into the smallest, like it arranges the grains into the smallest grain structures possible, which kind of makes it really soft. It puts it in its softest state possible. So it makes it the most quenchable and the less, it kind of like rearranges the grains so that there's no longer stress. So right now the steel is stressed because like I took it and I like smashed it, which is going to be full of a lot of stresses all throughout it. So you need to normalize it so that the grain structure kind of rearranges itself so that it's not stressed anymore. I don't know if that made any sense to you. It only kind of makes sense in my head, and I'm not even sure if I actually understand it. But basically, yeah. And if you're wondering, yes, this is tape on my wrists. I taped my sleeve to my gloves so scale can't fall in between there and get caught behind my gloves. I was having scale bounce on my hands and like burn my hands, and it was just painful, so I stopped doing that. Anyways, normalizing is very important. If you do not normalize it, when you quench it, or even when you just let it set and just let it cool off, it could crack. And obviously, since this is Damascus and I put a lot of work into this, I really don't want that to happen. which I think that makes sense. I think you all can understand why I want that to happen. We are this close to ending the stream, so before I do, make sure to subscribe. Also, if you could double tap the stream before I end. Not that it's gonna do anything, except for, I don't know, it looks satisfying to have a higher number of likes on your stream. So like, just for my sanity, if you could like the stream before I end. Basically what we do is we heat this steel up to like, let me remember the numbers. I think it was 1650, so 1650, let it cool off, then you heat it up to 1500, let it cool off, heat it up to like 1300, like 1350 after that. And basically 3 cycles, let it cool down. I can't measure how hot this is. I just have to guess. Also, that's really tall. I can't measure how hot the forge is because I don't have a way to do that. Nor do I have a kiln to tell me how hot the steel is. So I'm just gonna have to guess. Basically, I'm just gonna do 3 normalization cycles and then clean up the billet and then get ready for the next forge welding, which I'll be doing possibly tomorrow. So make sure to subscribe so you can make sure to catch my next stream. I'm gonna try to do several streams this week. I actually don't have work this week. I usually work down in Indianapolis, which is about an hour to an hour and a half away. And I put in flooring with a company called Blue Crew. I don't know. So, no, I'm not being sponsored to tell you that. I just said because I needed words to say. I usually work down in Indianapolis, but I didn't have work today, so, or this week at all, actually, which is kind of surprising. Only part-time, by the way. So I'm going to try to do multiple streams this week and see what happens if I try multiple streams in one day. Also, the last stream I did got 12,000 views in 2 hours. This stream has gotten 1,180 minutes, so it's not doing as well. It's kind of funny, the views have actually picked up a little bit right as I'm about to end. Really hot steel. Basically, I'm just going to leave it on the brick until it stops glowing, and then I'm going to stick it back in the forge, let it warm up, and let it heat back up again, and then let it cool down until it stops glowing, put it back in the forge, let it heat up, and let it cool down until it's done glowing, until it's just cold at that point, so I can just take it and grind on it. But I don't think you guys really need to see that, because that's boring. So, I'm going to end the stream very soon, but if you have any questions or comments you want to make sure to shoot those out before I do. Also, make sure to subscribe so you can catch me tomorrow or the day after, whenever I end up doing the next stream, since this week I'm going to do multiple. The people who have been here for a long time, I appreciate you a lot, because a lot from YouTube shows me that a lot of the people just pop in and out, but I know you guys have heard me repeat things a ton. I'm just saying that's because people are popping in and out a lot. They don't spend a long time, so I keep repeating things so new people can hear it. So, my apologies for making the few loyal viewers, not loyal, regular? No, long-term viewers. Apologies for repeating like things like 75 times since you've joined on. I will say, these doors, I made doors for the forge. I should have done that so long ago. Why is this like this? Also, tomorrow, I think I'm going to go live on both of my channels. Because currently, I'm only going live on my main channel. but I also have a shorts channel I should go live on as well. Also, I should try Facebook. I don't know if I can on Facebook. I don't know if you have to reach a certain goal before you can, but I'm going to try to be live on Facebook. So if you're more of a Facebook fan, then you can watch me on Facebook probably, but if not, then just watch me here on YouTube. And if you can't get on tomorrow, just have a good day. I'll have to see you some other time other than tomorrow. It's completely fine if you can't get on tomorrow. It's completely understandable. I know sometimes I'm a bit too busy just for entertainment. There are no questions. So, thank you guys. Oh, right, my hands are gloved. My gloves are at the table. Thank you guys so much for watching me struggle through the Damascus making today. I will see you guys again, most likely tomorrow, if not tomorrow, the day after.